What's going on Facebook, YouTube, and all the internet, wherever you may be watching? It's your boy chilling with Q10, and we are back at it again. I hope you're having a lovely Saturday evening. Hope all is well with you and your family, and I hope all is well with your soul as we are coasting through, maybe not coasting, but riding the roller coaster of 2020 and everything that is going on since the beginning of this year. It's a lot. And sometimes it can be overwhelming that we just forget to breathe. We forget to step back, take a couple nice deep breaths, focus, and breathe. For the most part, we're still alive. If you woke up this morning in America, we are blessed. And even though we have turmoil, and not just with the election, I mean, it's over everything that's been going on in the past year. And this stuff has been stewing for many years, of course. Like Antifa, the BLM stuff, the riots, protests, quote unquote. It seems like we are bound to just tear each other apart from the inside out. And if any of you have studied ancient Rome, whether in high school or, just on your own, and when I talk about ancient Rome, really I talk about the western part of Rome that collapsed in on itself during the 5th century. And that's pretty much what happened was because of they had a shortage of food. There was mass immigration, and they couldn't take care of the people. And just bankrupt morally within the country. And that all led to the downfall of Western Rome. And of course, when the barbarians came in, they had no opposition, really, because it was so far gone. So what's happening in America today? We see for many years it's been the left against the right, Republicans against Democrats, fighting with each other, one wanting more power than the other, in my opinion. So where does that leave us? Just the, what we consider, I guess, the plebeians, the American citizens, the ones who wake up at 4:00 in the morning and don't shut down until the sun goes down, hardworking, honest American people who just want to eke out a living in this world, in this society. Want to raise a family, do good, go to church, those people. Where does that leave us in a divided country right now? Because, no doubt, the country's divided, straight up. There is turmoil everywhere. And, of course, if you watch mainstream media day in and day out, it can be pretty overwhelming. That's why I would advise you to stay away as much as you can from mainstream media, MSNBC, CNN, Fox, all these channels. Just do yourself a favor, stay away. And the biggest thing too is social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all these social media platforms have gotten worse, and they just as worse as the dinosaur media. Take a look around, enjoy your family, get out, get some sunshine, hit the gym, hit the park, walk it off, do some yoga, take some deep breaths, do some breathing exercises, go for a swim. It's still pretty hot down here in Texas, so we can still go swimming. I don't know about up north. Go skiing, do something, get out. Now, I understand that we just can't act like it's not happening and act like it's not existing, because it is. And of course, there are things that we can do within our own life and I'm preaching to the choir right here, to help better ourselves, first of all, and to get our house right, and to help us in our mindset. First of all, to know that the Most High is in charge. Of course, we know that as believers in the Most High, that He's the one who sets up rulers. He sets them up, He tears them down, all for His purpose. And I know whether you believe in God Almighty, Yahweh, or not, believe that there is something going on. There are some forces behind the veil, or whatever you want to call it, that are pushing us and pulling us towards what many would consider another civil war or another revolution, because we are on the verge of such polar opposite ideologies right now in America. And I know the founding fathers, they looked at it before they came up with the Constitution and set up our government, and they looked at Rome and saw how they could do it without putting centralized power, into one place. And that's why you have the three branches of government: the executive, the legislative, and judicial. So they have in place checks and balances, of course, where all three check and balance each other, so they don't have one centralized power group. But don't get me wrong, there are people within our society and government that want that centralized power. They want to have control in the executive. They want to have control completely in the legislative, as far as controlling the House of Representatives and the Senate. And they're even talking about packing the Supreme Court. And that would give them total control over all three branches, which leads to a totalitarianism or dictatorship. There's no checks and balances because they're all of the same hive mind. And there will be no checks and balances. And this is what they want. This is what they talk about. They talked about packing the course. That's where they're hoping that the Senate runoff in Georgia, they can claim those 2 seats and have the majority in the Senate. And they already have the majority in the House, even though they lost about 10 seats. They still have the majority in the House, but that's what they want. Centralized control, power. And you even have some people coming out telling people to move to Georgia just so they can vote in the Senate runoff, which is illegal if you don't plan on staying in Georgia. Or if you voted in another state for a Senate and then you plan to, quote unquote, move to Georgia and vote there, that's illegal also. So now, if you're telling us that there's no voter fraud within our system, but you're telling people to illegally do stuff within the voting system, of course we're not going to believe you when you come out and you use your pundits at CNN and MSNBC saying that there is a 100% no chance of voter fraud. We're not going to believe you. But they want total control. Let's just put it that way. This is what they're hoping for. And when I say they, yes, I do mean the left. And I know I was just talking about the total, the pushing and pulling of what's going on. But let's be honest, man. For the most part, it's not conservatives that want total power. They just want to work with others. They actually want bipartisan. They want to talk. They want to reason. But not so much right now with the radical left. They don't want to reason. They just want their agenda and push it across America. But of course, there are other forces that is going on. There's principalities and higher powers that do their work in the darkness, that have an agenda for this country as well. And also in the physical outside forces that are using big platforms like our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and others, to push that agenda to tear us apart internally. Because when the country's torn apart internally, then that outside force, i.e. China, Russia, can come in and easily subdue us. Very easily. They know they can't do it militarily because a lot of people in America love our Second Amendment and we strapped. So therefore, they can't come in and use force like troops on the ground. So they have to do it in other means. And one of those means could be trying to enforce a gun buyback or a gun confiscation thing to disarm the American people. And that leaves these other superpowers, these other countries. This gives them a better chance of coming in and taking over. So that's why we have the Second Amendment. We have the First Amendment. We have the Constitution. A constitution that is for a religious and moral people. And it is not for any other government but a religious and moral people. And that's the only way the Constitution can serve. And I hear people saying and posting that this country was not found on religion, quote unquote. What they mean by that is Christianity. But yes, it was. It was founded for a religious and a moral people, not an immoral people. Because when you have moral people or religious people, they have a structure of laws and they have a structure of morals, and that keeps everything intact. We're not anarchists, although there are some. Speaking about being power hungry, let's go ahead and get into this. Dr. Fauci. Oh boy, here we go. You know, for the most part, he wasn't saying this in the beginning when Trump, Trump's still president, of course, but now that mainstream media is touting him, President-elect Biden, as the winner and still pushing that narrative. But now here Fauci comes out. Dr. Anthony Fauci is an unelected bureaucrat who bases COVID predictions on the garbage IHME models that were off by millions, and then later told reporters that you can't really rely on models, of course. Fauci is the immunologist and director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, who serves on the White House coronavirus task. Fauci is a phony and previously got blasted for taking off his mask at the ballpark. Of course, we know about this. Do what you're told, not what I do type thing. Laws for you, not for me, that type. Now Fauci is telling Americans just to shut up and do what they're told. I was talking to my UK colleagues who were saying in the UK is similar to where we are now. Because each of our countries have that independent spirit. Wow, imagine that. I can understand that, but now is the time to do what you're told, Fauci said on Thursday at the Washington National Cathedral. Let's take a listen. Do I have any audio? Now. Bear with me one second. Okay.
Little island of 5 million people that we can shut off. We're not a country that would accept if a ruler tells us you must do this. I was talking with our UK colleagues just today who were saying the UK is very similar to where we are now in outbreak because each of our countries have that independent spirit, but we don't want to be told what to do. Well, I understand that, but now is the time to do what you're told. And I think it really is something that we should be doing right now.
Really? Yeah. So let's go. Just do what you're told. That independent spirit that you have of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, we're going to cut that out. You should just do what you're told. We know that you don't want to be you don't want to be told what to do. But you're going to do it. Well, Fauci, no. And we're not. And that's the problem what's going on right now, is that we keep on hearing these pundits. We keep on hearing these idiots like Joe Biden say he's going to take your guns, pretty much, raise your taxes, have a national lockdown, national mask mandate. And as a free and independent people, like he said, yes, we are free. We are independent, and we like to think for ourselves. When you come out and you start having this rhetoric that you're going to do these things, yeah. And independent and free people don't like that. When you're going to shut down and control every aspect of their lives, telling them you can't go here, you can't go there. When you have Democratic governors saying you shouldn't have Thanksgiving, do it virtually, and then they go out and go to parties and get caught and then come out and say, I'm sorry, we're sorry. Like Governor Newsom in California, nuisance. Do what I say now as I do type mentality. Yeah, that pisses people off. That pisses a free and independent people off, Fauci. But this guy's coming out because he thinks his job is safe, because he thinks Trump is going to lose and Biden's going to keep him. Trump was already flirting with the idea of firing Fauci, which he should have done a long time ago. This guy hasn't practiced medicine in years. He pretty much just flundered, if that's a word, blundered his way through the coronavirus. Wrong on everything. In the beginning saying the masks were not needed, and then throwing the mask in there saying it was needed. So yeah, he should have got rid of Fauci a long time ago. But this is the type of authoritarian mindset. And just laughing about it casually. You know, I was talking to the UK and, you know, their independent spirit. You do what you're told, pretty much. And then laughing about it. So no, we're not going to do what we're told, Fauci. I think we are, people with common sense, some of us. And we can make the decisions that can keep our families safe. With your 99.9% survival rate of coronavirus. So no thanks. We're going to skip you, Fauci. And of course, in other news, today there's a big rally going on in D.C. Stop the Steal. And of course, you know, where there are Trump supporters, there's going to be the anti-Trump supporters. Trump supporter brutally attacked and bloodied by a mob of Black Lives Matter thugs in D.C., of course. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this video. And some of this is pretty disturbing. So if you have children in the room, you might not want to keep them around if you're watching. Put headphones on or whatever.
Find out. Hey, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out!
Everyone, get out! Kill that!
And there's, this guy is clearly, the instigators seem to be on the Antifa or the Black Lives Matter when they come through, of course. For the most part, the rallies for the Trump supporters have been, they keep the peace until BLM or somebody steps up and then they start causing issues. And it's easy to walk away. And in other instances, it's not easy. And for this guy, it's not easy, as you can see. He's surrounded by hundreds of people in the back. But just this small group right here is probably 20 to 30 people that just keep on coming in and attacking him. Continue to instigate. one guy's trying to calm it down, but I mean, once the adrenaline starts going, it's hard to stop, especially when you have women. What's wrong with these women in this country, man? They are flipping lost it, dude. Should be home doing something, raising kids, maybe. Here we go. Right there. Then the girl picks up his phone and runs away. Yep, the guy just stomps him in the head while he's down.
Yeah, he's bleeding, man. He's got internal maybe in his brain. In Jesus' name, heal him, Lord, please. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, homeboy needs an ambulance. He needs prayer too, but homeboy needs an ambulance.
Get him over here.
The people you wanted to follow.
You gotta get him over here. I got you. We got you.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Back up. Why you guys sitting? Why are you guys letting this happen, dude?
You heard the guy is like, why are you guys letting this happen? I guess he's talking to maybe one of the police officers or whatever, but that's my sentiment as well. Why are they letting it happen? Well, they know a Trump rally or a Trump whatever was going to happen, and you knew that BLM was coming out, anti-Trumpers, whatever. Maybe you should increase the police force. But this is DC with a crooked governor or whatever that's Democratic, a Democrat, you know. So, of course, it'd be one of those things where she would tell him to stand down. I don't know. But, you know, this guy gets sucker punched. Of course, that's the only way they know how to fight is by sucker punching. They're cowards. And while he's on the ground, he gets stomped in the head, possibly causing brain trauma. These are the people that old sniffer elect wants you to unify with. There will be no unity with these people. These people do not want unity, like I talked in my last video. They don't want unity. They want to burn the system down totally. They don't like Biden either. But they hate Trump even more, and they hate his supporters. And that's clearly evident. And like I said, it's a very sad state that we're in right now, because we have people over here and then we have people over here and clashing. And this could lead to an internal destruction of our country. And people in China, these governments in China and Russia and all that, they are sitting back and laughing because they're hoping that it leads to that. They're hoping that it leads to some type of civil war or a revolution to where they can swoop in and take over. That's what they're hoping for. But then you say, Q, what can we do? How can we just come together, quote unquote, or unify? They keep throwing that word around. How can we do it? How are we going to do it? And to that I say, I don't know. I literally don't know, because it's right now, it's just so far. I wouldn't say gone. It's not too far gone. I mean, the Most High can work, everything. He works everything out for the good of the people, for, those who serve him. Let's put it that way. But I mean, we're in president times where people are lawless and they don't have morals. And that's why the Constitution was for a religious and moral group. So we wouldn't be doing this to our fellow people. But at this time, we have institutions in place, like the mainstream media, that are constantly pushing and pulling people apart and dividing the country through rhetoric. Orange Man bad for 4 years. Russia collusion. He's a racist. He's xenophobic. All his supporters are racist, xenophobes, homophobes, whatever type of phobe. We heard that ever since he got in office. So they sowed seeds of discord for all this time, and now they're coming out and say, we need to heal. and unify, when they were the ones that were actually pushing separation between the people of America, citizens. The only way we gonna get through this is with the help of Jesus, the Lord Most High. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but that's the only way. That's the only way we can overcome this. But I know, the Bible says in Revelation, we're going to have to go through tough times. And whether it's judgment or mercy upon this country, and whether Biden gets in or he doesn't, we have to be prepared. We have to be those 10 virgins that had enough oil and not the 10 virgins that didn't have enough oil. We have to be prepared. We have to get our houses prepared, get our lives in order, and be prepared. It's sad, man. It really is a sad situation, because the more you just look at it, and the more everything that's going around, and just the division that you see, and the identity politics that's being played, and it's being played upon the American people. And whatever you believe in Trump, if you voted for him or not, if you like him or not, for the most part, he did good for the country. And he did it for free. He gave away his check. Well, he kept like $1 and then donated the rest. Legally he had to keep something. So all of those are going to try to fact check me out there, whatever. But God forbid, what's coming in next, if it gets in, will continue to divide this country even more. I mean, sad to say, but there's no unity or healing now. We don't trust the people on the left as far as conservatives believe. We don't. There's no unifying. I mean, it's like I said previously, we can't be unequally yoked with these people and their ideologies. We can't. As Bible believing, word believing people, we cannot be yoked with these people. We will be unequally yoked. So there's no unifying, and there is no healing, and not a man can do it. Only the Most High, Yeshua Messiah, can do that. Crazy times, man. Crazy times. Like I was saying, California Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom caught attending multifamily gathering that he advised against, of course. So he went out to a birthday party, had at least 12 people there, said to celebrate the 50th birthday of a Jason Kenney, longtime friend, political advisor. And he got busted, and then he had to come out and make a statement, saying that he wish, it's for obvious reasons people are letting their guard down. Newsom said they are taking their mask off. They are starting to get together outside of their household cohorts, and they are starting to see businesses reopen, and we are starting again to see more people mixing. As it gets colder, we'll see more still. So that's why he put in these more authoritarian shutdown measures. And then he went to a party. They had 12 people from 3 different families there, something that he told people not to do. And not just him. You have Lori Lightfoot in Chicago, Beetlejuice herself, that is doing the same thing, telling people to just go ahead and cancel Thanksgiving, probably cancel Christmas, or just go ahead and cancel your life for the most part, what it looks like. And same thing with Fauci was saying. Now is the time to do what you're told. No more independent thought. No more independent thinking. No more individuality. Your freedoms, give them to us. And that's an issue, and that's a problem. And that's something that will continue to divide the American people. Those who want life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those who just want to burn it down in anarchy. and those that are just caught in between and then riding the wave and don't have a side. You know. But sometimes you have to pick a side. Sometimes you have to go in and do what's right. The worst thing that can happen is when good men do nothing and let evil continue. We have to pick, are you going to be on the side of right? Are you going to be on the side of wrong? Are you going to be on the side of good, moral? Or are you going to be on the side of evil and unmoral? Are you going to be the wheat? Or are you going to be the tares in the field? And that's for the people who just want to ride the fence, who want that lukewarmness. Well, I'm not on the right. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. You know, I'm not here. I'm not there. Sometimes you got to kind of pick a side. I know. It's tough. And like I said, we need a step back with all this going on. What I've just showed you, especially the video of the guy getting beaten, which was crazy. And it's a lot of these protesters are women. It's like, do you have children? Are you leaving your children at home? Or are you leaving your children with someone else to go and do this and to cause chaos and violence in the streets? We need to take our country back and our family back. I know a lot of these progressive states and like, you know, just the way that America is right now, trying to be more progressive is leading in a way where you see a lot of women ruling the households and stepping all over the men. And, you know, I know a lot of you don't like me talking about that, don't want to hear that, but it's true. You know, I think it's an authoritarian patriarchal system, blah, 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 blah. Look, that's just the way that it works. That's just the way that the Most High set it up. So, but man, I'm going to get out of here. It was fun, you know, chatting with y'all. Like I said, you need to just sit back, take a breath, breathe deep, and we'll get through this with the help of the Most High. It's your boy chilling with Q10, and peace out.